My, people come and go so quickly here.
No, I don't know many people.
I know too many people. I guess we're both lonely.
Milk was a bad choice.
You crying? No. Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
It's the Al Travis Show, and excited. I'm intrigued to have our next guest on the program. She comes on every Monday. She's Senator Karin Housley, fabulous contributor to the program, great friend. But the first elected official we've had on since what happened over the weekend. I will mention that Senator Hoffman stood us up today. Not his fault. But Senator, thank you for being here. Yeah, I'll get even with him. Give me what happened in your life Saturday morning. How you find out, what happens for you, and maybe your just thought process that lunatics are out doing bad things to us. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I got a call at 6 a.m. from Julia Coleman, Senator Julia Coleman, who had heard from her law enforcement officials that Hortman and Hoffman had been shot. And so I had law enforcement show up at my house and sat in front, still trying to, make sense of all of it. But at the Housley home, we had a 9 o'clock. We did a Father's Day breakfast at our house because all the kids were going to be gone on Father's Day on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a combination Father's Day breakfast at 9 along with a 2-year-old birthday party at our house at 9 a.m. when all of this is breaking down. And then there's a 9:30 press conference. And we've got all these little kids running around the house. And
wow.
Gigi, what's the police officer doing in front? Like it was just, and I'm running back into the bedroom to try and see what's going on in the press conference. And then a couple of little kids are coming. Gigi, come on, we're opening presents. And I'm thinking about all my neighbors out front, knowing some of this is going on. And why is the police officer out there? And, you don't want to cause any attention in your neighborhood either. It was just chaos, fear, protecting your little family. It was horrible. And then wondering about how the Hoffmans were doing and how the Hortmans were doing and anybody else. And who was this guy and where was he? It was horrible that at noon, Phil and I just got out of Dodge. We told the police officer to leave the neighborhood, and we're getting in the car and we're going up north to the lake because it was just too much.
Well, no, I get it. Your phone had to go off the hook. How do I put this? Every one of these people. I presume everyone got a hold of somebody. Everybody returned that back. There must be, your phone must have not stopped going off. How old was the child's birthday?
Yeah, we have them from 2 years old up until 10. So, I was so rudely, my face in my...
No, God love kids and their birthdays, and they're going to have many more. God bless them. I don't know how you wouldn't have kept your nose out of your phone. And, mine, I had 2 older children, and this is going off. Everyone is on their phone. Everyone is checking something to see what's going on. It was a surreal moment for me, and I'm not in the game. I'm just literally watching from outside. I felt so sorry for all of you, but I'm glad you're safe. So let's.
And so our oldest daughter has been asked to run for city council in the city we live in, and the day before I was trying to convince her to do it, even though she's not political, but she was like, I don't know, I guess. And that morning she said, absolutely not, ever, ever, ever. And I was just like, oh. That's what this creep is doing. He's keeping some people for fear of what happened, which that is everybody's biggest fear. But to have it because of something political is 10 times worse. But to have somebody ring your doorbell in the middle of the night, of course, we all would have let the person in. I would have thought it was because of my daughter dead in a car, accident.
Oh, you're answering the door. There's no doubt. A cop shows up. You're there. It's 2 a.m. Got his lights. It looks like he's got a cop car. Absolutely, we are. You bring up the police, though. And maybe we'll find out more, but right now I'm sitting here absolutely in awe, and maybe again back to God's running things. They get a call. Obviously, some neighbor called and said, hey, if Yvette was shot 8 times and John was shot 9 times, that's 17. If you look at the front door, there was another 10. That's 27 rounds. Somebody called. Thank you. By the way, here's something, say something. The police show up, and as I understand it, Brooklyn Park police came to help because this doesn't happen in Champlin every day. And that Brooklyn Park guy, when they realized it was Senator Hoffman, said, wait a minute. If this is political and I've got 6 miles away the Hortmans and railed in and got cops to go there, if they don't catch him and have a firefight and get his car, this could have gone south in a whole lot more ways.
Isn't that like that guy just, and then you're thinking you're that policeman and you're now in a gunfight with the murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And then how you send a drone inside the house when you know he is in, like I was like, wait, they have drones that can go inside the house. And then he like, there is Mark Hortman dead on the ground.
Yep.
He's trying to do CPR and like he can't go run after the
bad guy.
Right, because he's got dead people. Like it's just, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
What they do for us. Then the mobilization. So now all of a sudden, we didn't have this back in our day. You're much younger than me, obviously. But in our day, you didn't have Champlin, what do they call it? Shut down. Don't leave your house orders or whatever. Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden everybody's phones are going off saying, hey, you can't leave. We're tying everything down.
Yeah,
shelter in place. And then all of a sudden we know that this guy's dressed as a cop, acting like a cop. He could walk up one of those doors, knock and say, we're here to check, and then you were in trouble. These cops figured out, and then one of those all points come out and said, do not answer the door unless there's 2 of us. Brilliant move, coppers. I love that.
How quick were they to think, right? And then they told Senator Abler, who lives a mile from Senator Hoffman, do not answer the door to any cops. Then the cops came to his door, and he had to call the cops to say there's cops at the door. And they're like, no, those are the real cops. Yeah.
So this gets out of hand quick, but I was very impressed. Then you're in a human chase. Now he's on foot, so this gets weird. We're going to find out a lot of stuff. I don't know how he gets back to Green Isle on foot, so help. Now he stole a car. I mean, but he's all over. The weird thing about it is, and this is, God love you, police officers. They didn't give up. The one place I don't think I'm heading back to is home. If I was this guy, so, hey, we're playing with a nuthead. Let's make sure we cover his house. And then they used a drone to fly over the cornfield to find the guy. This is all crap we didn't have when I was a kid. Law enforcement was using it.
Trail cam. Somebody's hunting trail cam. You didn't have that back then, right? You didn't have it when you were out hunting. Right. Alerted them to where he was. It's a bad time to be a criminal if you want to get away with it, because they will catch you. They will catch you. It's just we can't prevent all crime, and that's what happens.
So to wrap up this side, and we'll talk more on the other side, but if I can. So I was very relieved, and again, I'm watching from the outside, so I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. I go to bed last night, this guy's still out, and just as I'm turning the TV off, the thing on the Cryon says they caught the guy. So I stayed up a little while to watch the news to see that they actually got this guy. How was that a relief? Well, I had been some relief. It was for me, it's like, thank God this is over. It's not. We'll talk about that stuff. But for you, does it say, great, I can relax now? Or is it just one of the lunatics is gone and you're still heightened? I wouldn't want to be you today, Senator.
Yeah, it's, I don't think we can really relax. There's a lot of crazy people out there. Yeah, we just got one behind bars, but there are others. So we are all a little unsettled in this, and going forward, I think state of politics and security is going to change forever because of this. And it's sad that it has to be that way, but it's still unsettling, and I'm still up north because I don't really want to go back to the cities yet.
Can we talk about it on the other side? Let's talk about that. She's Senator Karin Housley. Appreciate her being here. Much more coming up right after this.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul, but who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. Learn more at MidwestMoneyManagement.com. That's MidwestMoneyManagement.com.
Securities offered through JW Cole Financial Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services offered through JW Cole Advisors Inc. Midwest Money Management and JW Cole Financial Inc. and JW Cole Advisors Inc. are unaffiliated entities.
as in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
I was probably wrong not to ask Senator Housley about this early on in this interview. You and John, I presume were friends, frenemies, maybe on the friend from the other side, because I know for a fact that when one of you would have a caucus meeting or something, call the other one, and hey, I can't make mine, and you'd swap times. You guys had a friendly relationship, correct?
Yeah, we had a really good relationship. I don't know if there was anybody that didn't have a good relationship with John Hoffman. Everybody loved him, and he loved everybody. But yeah, we were pretty close. We would exchange jabs because he has a great sense of humor, and his wife Yvette is wonderful too. I've met her a few times, and I actually text her. She didn't text me back, surprise. But I'm praying for their family and for Hope. Not Hope, Hope, but Hope. Their daughter.
Hope is their daughter. Who's this?
I just can't imagine what they're going through and the fear that's going to be with them forever. And then for the Hortman family, I lost my parents at 50 something. Can you imagine losing your parents at that young age and so horrifically, and the family home is destroyed? Like, I can't. It's just the worst case ever. Can't even.
I know you're all hanging at the Capitol, but there's 201 of you. Would you have bumped into Hortman at times? I mean, how would you consider that relationship? I've done, I think, 2 or 3 shows with her back in the cable days and stuff. I mean, always pleasant. She wouldn't know me from Adam if we walked up at a party.
Yeah, no, she was wonderful. We ran into each other a lot, and we would have meetings together because I was the bonding lead, and we would have those. There's probably 12 of us in a room with Governor Walz talking about the bonding bill, and the last one was just a couple of weeks ago. So we were friendly, and we would see each other out to dinner. We would go to certain places downtown St. Paul, and we would exchange friendlies. She was a wonderful, wonderful person. Yeah, opposite sides and different views on things, but
I should have started there. But the opposite sides, different views thing. That's where I wanted to go with this anyway. Does this change things? If this happened in Phoenix, Arizona, I would have read the news and said, dag nabbit, can't we all just get along? And my life would have been, there they go again, the crazy people. This happened in Minnesota. And I don't know if put this, we're kind of with the guy running for governor, and I mean, Emmer up there, we have both sides on a pretty national scale. We use a lot of terms that, I guess, because I don't think there are more crazy people in the world. I think we agitate them more, the language, the scapos and Nazis or whatever it is, for whatever side. We almost give them license. I used Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. They didn't get along. I mean, they got along, but they were on opposite sides, but they didn't call each other names. We still got a guy who shot Reagan. I'm not saying that. But it just seems more frequent because I think the rhetoric is there. Will this change that in your mind? Will we see better Minnesota conversation?
I hope so, because I watched that congressional hearing the day before.
Oh, yeah.
And, you didn't know whether you should cheer for what they were saying when they were really going after the Democrat governors, or you kind of cringed a little bit, like, that you're going a little too far. But how you can't legislate free speech, and people have a right to do that. The odd thing about this murder and shooting of the 2 individuals that were victims, they weren't extreme people. Like, that's the weird thing. They are not out there saying anything crazy or doing anything crazy. These are nice, normal, regular people who just are, and who knows if they were the opposite side of the aisle of Vance Beltner or not. I don't really know what his political views are. We hear from his friend that he supposedly voted for Trump, but I don't think that really had anything to do with. It's one crazy guy, and by changing our rhetoric, will that stop it? I don't know. I don't know
if it stops it, makes it less, but even this, and again, you can't legislate it. I don't want to. I'm a big free speech guy. This is what I do for a living, but I do want those that get into your job. It's in my opinion, it starts there. If the governor says this is, Gestapo tactics, that's going to not run in the paper and the radio guys, and everybody's going to have it, and it amplifies itself. If we as politicians and folks in our line of work start using, you know what? He's wrong about that, but you know what? He's a nice guy. If we start doing that and start doing this, I think it will trickle down and just there's less of the ickiness in the atmosphere. Does that make any sense? I don't want to legislate anything, but we call ourselves Minnesota nice. We're not always.
Well, no, and myself included, because I've gone a little bit far to say some things about Governor Walz that I not just that I disagreed
Yeah.
with, but I attacked him, which is wrong. And I don't think Minnesotans want us to do it either.
No.
So maybe
Maybe it makes it all
we'll start
better.
talking more like Minnesotans and being nicer, just because something like this will cause us to pause.
We don't have any kind of timetable on stuff. I hope, because what I've seen for the most part on X, there's a couple exceptions. Most Republicans and Democrats are treating this with real due respect, and I appreciate those that I watch. A couple of knuckleheads, let them be. But we don't know when the funeral is. I'm asking, can we get through at least the funeral of these fine folks before we start going, we got to get rid of guns, or we shouldn't get, whatever the narrative is going to end? Do you think we can get to that? And then, because I'd like to, after that, discuss with you what happens now. It's another special election. The Mitchell trial was, there's a lot of political implications. I don't think that's today, but you get what I'm saying. How can we hold off?
That's where my brain gets going that way. And I'm like thinking exactly along the lines you are. And yeah, it's too soon. You're right. I think we have to get through the funerals of the Hortmans, and hopefully everybody will dial it back and not start going down that road yet. But I'm sure some people will just not be able to hold back. We will see. You'll see the character of some legislators and some folks. We will see.
We will find out. Let me ask you this, because I think you're one of those people that just do things the right way. You've been raised well. What's the right move? I feel compelled to send some flowers to John at the hospital, but he's going to get 6,000 flowers at the hospital. They're going to end up being a forest. Same thing with the Hortman family, that funeral. I can't even imagine the flowers. I don't want to do that. What could one do to let both those families know you're behind them? Hortman, as I understood, raised, trained, seeing eye dogs or dog helper dog, assistant dog.
Animals. Yeah, she did. And they put her dog down today. Yeah, that dog didn't make it. So those poor kids. I did see that the Hoffmans have a GoFundMe, and it's up 104,000 right now. They have a goal of 140,000. I was like, why 140,000? Like, just
let her rip. Yeah.
I think they should have one for the Hortmans too, and then you can always put your message in there.
I don't know if it needs to be a message. I just want to help some way. I'm not anti-flower people. Don't get me wrong, but she's Senator. How many flowers can one family get and say who wants one? So I don't want to do that. So I love that idea. I'll find out. Maybe it's the service. We'll find out what they say. Senator, tough day for you to come here and do this for me. I thank you very much, and I'm happy you're safe. And thank you for doing this for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I'm sorry about your friend John, and we can hardly wait to get him back, right?
Yeah. I the sarcasm with him and me. I had to send him the text to invite him, or I would have never heard the end of it. Thank you, Senator. Senator Karin Housley on the Al Travis Show.
There are many ways to explore Alexandria. Some like to experience